That is what the Indian Prime Minister announced yesterday in his address to the nation at 8 p.m. It is a 21-day lockdown period that India will now be subjected to. And to give us more perspective in terms of how all of this will play out, we are joined by WION's Siddhant Sibil. Good morning to you, Siddhant. Give us a sense of what it is like outside now on the streets. It is a 21-day period of lockdown that the India will be very crucial in ensuring that the number of cases do not rise in India.
Well, yes, Mohammed, today is the first day of the pan-India lockdown, which was announced by the Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi. I am outside on the street. I'm right now at Mayur Vihar area, which is a residential area here in Delhi. And outside people are trying to buy essential needs like vegetables and fruits and other things as well. But as of now, I have seen on the ground the essential services, particularly groceries, are open. People are buying that. In fact, the newspapers are also being circulated here in this part of Delhi. But we know that this is a pan-India lockdown for 21 days, and the focus is that people stay inside their houses. They do not go out. And of course, there are reports of how people are a little bit panicking about it, especially when it comes to essential services. But the message by the Indian government is that you do not need to panic because essential services will continue. In fact, the government has issued an order, the MHA has issued an order talking about that there is no need to worry, and all instructions have been given, especially to the security forces, that they allow the essential services to continue.
Absolutely, indeed. That's a very crucial message that needs to actually go out to the people, because in the immediate aftermath of the Indian Prime Minister actually putting out that announcement of a 21-period lockdown, there were some cues that were witnessed of people trying to stock up on essential supplies. But the Prime Minister has, of course, reiterated. He also subsequently tweeted about this, saying that essential supplies will not be affected. Essential supplies like groceries and other items will continue to remain available. But Siddhant, also talk to us a bit about how crucial this next 21-day period is in ensuring that the number of infections do not rise, because we are now clearly at that critical moment that it is now that we need to, in fact, strictly follow the guidelines of this lockdown, and people should not venture out.
Well, yes, Mohammed, as you just mentioned, how people should not venture out, and the Indian government has been talking about how the focus should be that to stay at home and stay safe, and that is the only way that the chain can be broken. We know that on the ground there have been press briefings happening on a daily basis, but since yesterday the press briefings have been cancelled, suspended, because they do not want people to sit in close proximity. And social distancing is something that has been talked about by the Indian side for a pretty long time. In fact, one thing I can tell you is that when I was at the briefing, they asked us specifically, all the journalists, to sit with a seat in between, an empty seat in between. And before that also, the focus of the government was to make sure that social distancing policy was followed. But on the ground, we have seen since Sunday, when the Janata curfew came, people weren't actually following it. People were still roaming around. And that is why this measure was taken. And as the Indian Prime Minister talked about, that if this measure is not taken today, then India can lose its 21 years. And that is why this measure was required. He clearly said that India should not go in the way like Italy went or other countries went. And that is why there is a necessity of taking such kind of strong action.
Absolutely, indeed. We'll have to leave it there. Thank you very much indeed, Siddhant Sibil, for joining us and getting us all those updates. And do stay safe, because this of course, is a very critical time. And it is the next 21 period that continues to remain very crucial. So the Indian government has also said that essential supplies will not be affected. People will be able to continue getting their groceries, milk and other essential supplies that they need as normal. But anyone who is found violating this period of lockdown and is found venturing out for unnecessary reasons, legal action will be taken against such people who would be violating the lockdown measures. So let's tell you as to what punishment will await people who flout the restrictions. Now, obstructing a government officer's work or not complying with a government order can actually attract a maximum prison term of 1 year along with a fine. If these actions lead to loss of life, then the maximum prison sentence can actually increase and go up to 2 years. Making false claims about the coronavirus outbreak could also land an individual in jail for a minimum period of 2 years with a hefty fine. This is applicable to a number of messages with fake remedies and cures that that are flooding the social media at this moment. Many citizen groups have been tasked with important relief work. And if such office bearers are found misusing the funds or relief materials, then he or she can be sentenced to a maximum of 2 years in prison. Now, false warnings are also extremely detrimental in times such as these. Fake alarms can be punished with up to 1 year in prison and or with fines. Now, government officers are at this point of time indispensable right now, but if an officer refuses to perform an assigned duty or fails to do it on purpose, then he or she can be sentenced to a maximum of 1 year in prison with fine. A number of public orders have been announced for the citizens to follow. Disobeying any of these public orders will attract a minimum of 6 months of prison with a fine of up to 1,000 rupees.